What's up and welcome to an episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. Today we're talking about Black Friday deals for gaming laptops. Again, every morning I've been combing through the websites looking for more deals and adding them to the list, and some people have been emailing me some deals that I missed. So all in all, we've got a ton of great deals to go over in today's video. Now before we dive into these videos, I want to make sure all of you consumers, some of you might be new to buying laptops out there, I want to make sure all of you know why these deals are so good. First of all, we have the RTX 3000 NVIDIA GPUs coming out very soon, probably at the beginning of 2021, somewhere January to March timeframe. So if you don't need to buy one right now, you can probably hold out and get a improved version of a gaming laptop here in like 3 to 4 months. That said, these manufacturers know that they need to sell these units before the new GPUs come out, so they're heavily marking down the price on these laptops. Compared to prices like a month or two ago, these are insane deals. And now we're just seeing them all over the place for Black Friday. And I've tried to combine all of the best deals into one list in my spreadsheet here. And I also added a deal rating for each deal so you can kind of give my overall opinion on each deal as we go into it. So let's go ahead and hop into the spreadsheet here. In my previous video, if you haven't seen it, I went over the first, 6 or 7 Black Friday deals up to right here. So these are the deals we're gonna go over today. Let's go ahead and start with this insane Lenovo 7i laptop. So this is a 10 out of 10 deal in my opinion. It's $1699 marked down from $22.99. Now the thing that makes this a particularly awesome deal is probably number one, this is arguably one of the more powerful laptops with an RTX 2070 Super, as well as a 240 Hertz display that's a 500 nits brightness HDR display. So you're basically getting a much more colorful gaming display than almost any other laptop. If you're someone who really appreciates a colorful laptop display, this is a top tier choice. Plus, you're just getting a lot of bang for the buck with 1.5 terabytes of SSD space. That's the most SSD space we're seeing out of any of these laptops. And then the other aspects of the laptop are just like average. Like we have an i7-10750H and 16 gigs of RAM. But overall, for the price, $1699, I think that's a really good deal for a very specialized laptop that I think a lot of general gamers will be really interested in. Moving on to the next deal. We have the ROG Zephyrus G15. This is with a Ryzen 4800HS 1660 Ti. Think of it like a budget machine. This is the mid-range Black Friday deal. It's going to have a solid build quality, very thin overall profile. We've got the Ryzen processor in here, so we're going to get a good amount of CPU power. Right here you can see the specs on this machine. We've got 144 Hertz display, Ryzen 7 4800HS, 1 terabyte SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 1660 Ti Max Q. That's fantastic all-around specs. This is going to be a great general gaming machine with a high refresh rate. There's basically no major weaknesses aside from the fact that you can probably get an RTX 2060 GPU at this price point, and that's why I only labeled it a 9 out of 10 deal. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we've got the Strix G15. I marked this as an 8.5 out of 10 deal. And that's just because we have last year's processor with only a 1650. That said, it's still 120 Hertz display and 16 gigs of RAM. So taking a look at the deal here, it's again on the Microsoft Store. This is just like solid budget specs, but in a really, really cool chassis. So if you really care about what your laptop looks like more than what the internal specs are, then this is a great option. I generally wouldn't recommend this deal for someone looking to get the most performance for the money. Moving on to the next one, we have the GS65 Stealth. This is an i7-9750H, so we're looking at a 9th gen processor from last generation, which is fine. It's basically the same thing as the 10750H, very little difference. We got an RTX 2080 Max Q. Now, this price was $1999, and I had the deal, I think, at like 9.5 out of 10, but it's $200 more now, so it's not as good a deal as it was. Now, this is still in stock. You can see that it's listed for $23.99 with a $200 rebate coupon. So you're gonna have to get the money back after the fact. Rebate coupons are a thing of the past, really. I'm surprised to see them. Newegg is doing them on a number of deals though. So this is one of the most powerful GPUs you can get in a super thin and light package. So if you're looking for a ton of power in a portable form factor, this is it. That said, the GS65 Stealth has had some build quality issues with the hinges, so if you buy this, I would highly recommend also planning to get an extended warranty of some kind. You can get a 2-year notebook accidental protection plan for $300. So if I were to get this one, I would probably recommend getting an extended warranty like this just because of the hinge. So you can always get your money back if you need it. Moving on to the next deal. We have the Aero 15. This is an 8 out of 10 deal because it's basically like the higher performance specs you get, the more money you typically have to pay to get that item, right? It's just less bang for the buck. That said, when you're getting up to an RTX 2080 Supermax SKU, so this is the highest end GPU right now that you can get in a thin and light, it's a $2699, so we're quite a bit more on the price than the GS65 Stealth, but we have an 8-core CPU and it's the 10th gen version. We also have 32 gigs of RAM and of course we have the upgraded SSD, and also very importantly we have a 4K OLED display. This would be a couple $100 upgrade as well. So if you're someone who really just wants a super colorful, like insanely bright display, this is a great laptop that'll kind of hit those sweet spots. That said, I mean, you're getting so much GPU power and you don't even have a high refresh rate display. It just doesn't jive with me personally, but maybe you're a video editor person and you need a high-end CPU with a very bright, colorful display. This might be a great option for you. Moving on, we got the Gigabyte Aorus 5. Now, I made this an 8 out of 10 deal simply because it's not quite as good a bang for the buck as some of the other deals. So this comes in at $1,049 after a $100 rebate. It's a 144 hertz display, i7 1050H, GeForce RTX 2060. So you're getting all of the core features of a great gaming machine, and it's in this Aorus chassis. And Aorus is known for basically making their laptops a little bit thicker, you can see right here, but being able to tune the performance of the internals a little bit higher than some of the competition. I have not reviewed this particular unit, so I don't know exactly for the thermals and performance, but it's probably pretty good. Moving on, we have the MSI GL65 Leopard. We've got a 6-core 10750H, a 1660 Ti, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gig SSD, and a 1 terabyte HDD. Whenever there's a 1 terabyte HDD, know that you're getting a little bit thicker laptop to be able to accommodate that 2.5-inch drive for the HDD. And it does have a 144 hertz display. Now, I listed this as a 9 out of 10 deal just because I think there are some competitive deals that are maybe a little bit better than this, but this is still a really good machine for the money. And if you're someone who doesn't mind a thicker laptop, then this is one that will give you a lot of bang for the buck. So we've got a $100 rebate on this laptop, so just know that you're gonna have to go through the hassle of that as well. ROG Strix G17, we've got an i7 10750H, an RTX 2070, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gig SSD, 144, all the standard things you need in a high-end gaming machine, and it's marked down. It was, I think, $15.99, now it's $13.99. So this is one of the higher end specs and extremely attractive looking machines. It has one of the insane LED setups on any laptop out there. I really like this laptop. This is one of the #1 laptops I recommend to people when people ask, what laptop should I buy? The Asus ROG Strix series, the G15 and G17 are solidly built, solid thermals, great lighting, love the keyboard, love the trackpad, and this is a great all-around price point, especially for an RTX 2070. Taking a look at the Lenovo Legion 5, this is a 15-inch. We've got i7 750H, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060. For this price point, that's pretty good spec for that price point. 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gig SSD. Right here, it does not say 240 hertz display. That worries me that it's not listed there. Right here, it indicates 240 hertz. Now, Acer Nitro 5, this right here is one of the top deals for sure. Like, this is one of the ones that if you're on a mid-tier budget, $800, I guess that's pretty low budget, but $800, this is getting you a fully featured laptop for 800 bucks. Okay, let's take a look at the specs. Acer Nitro 5, 9th gen processor, i5, I believe this is a quad core. You're getting a solid-ish CPU here, like nothing amazing. Let's face it, there's a lot better processors on the market today. If you were to get a more modern CPU, like a Ryzen 7 8-core processor, that'd be way better than this processor. But at $800, RTX 2060, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD, 1 terabyte HDD, and a 144 hertz display. I did do a review of a very similar model to this one earlier this year, the 2020 version that has a lower end spec than this. It's a surprisingly solid all-around machine from everything that I can tell. And I mean, I paid, I think, $820 for the version I reviewed, and it had way worse specs. I think it only had 8 gigs of RAM. It was like a GTX 1650, and I think it had a 256 gig SSD with no hard drive, and it was only a 60 hertz display. So you're like getting like 4 major upgrades for $20 less. If you're on an ultra low budget and you want a well-rounded gaming machine, this is probably the best bang for the buck gaming machine that I've seen that's fully featured. Now, if you're not wanting to go fully featured and you want to just save as much money as you possibly can, then I think this deal is the best deal that I've seen so far. This deal is still going. It's the HP Pavilion 15.6-inch Ryzen 5 6-core processor. You're getting an even better processor than that more expensive laptop, but you're only getting 8 gigs of RAM, a GeForce 1650 Ti. You're not getting a 1 terabyte HDD, and you're also only getting a 60 hertz display. That said, I have seen this laptop. I do actually have it over there, or a similar model, and the keyboard feels great. It seems like it's reasonable build quality, though it's very plasticky. Same with the Acer Nitro 5. If you're wanting a fully featured machine, go with this Acer Nitro 5 for a little bit more money. If you're wanting to save as much money as possible and you're more of a casual gamer, this will still get the job done for 1080p gaming as long as you're willing to sacrifice settings. I love where gaming laptops are these days for price to performance to bang for the buck that you're getting. Okay, moving on. Another absolutely insane deal. This is a super premium laptop. We're looking at the Alienware M15 R3. I did do a review of an Alienware M15, I think R2, about a year ago. I love this laptop. Let's go ahead and dive into the specs here. This is a 10 out of 10 deal in my opinion. As you can see here, we've got an i7-10875H. This is an 8-core processor, so we got an upgraded processor. This is normally like, you know, $100 to $200 upgrade. We've got an RTX 2070, so we're not at the super range, but that's like very, very close to the RTX 2070 Super in performance. We got 32 gigs of RAM. We got a 512 gig SSD, and we've got a 300 hertz display. So this machine is basically knocking it out of the park. 300 hertz, 300 nits, 100% sRGB. Color gamut display. You're getting very high-end specs in this machine for only $1599. If you're looking for a very premium machine on a like moderate, like $1,500 to $2,000, this is arguably the best deal I've seen on the Alienware so far. I'm sure there's been some other insane deals on Alienware too. Dell does some insane deals, but this is definitely one of those insane deals that I would go, okay, that's a good deal. That said, I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice a few things and save some money, this deal right here, the Zephyrus M15, I talked about it in the last video, but this is very close to this Alienware deal, and it's only $1249. So you're saving quite a bit of money, but losing out on some of the flashier things like the extra 16 gigs of RAM here, and as well as the CPU upgrade. So, you know, if you're willing to spend the money and get a few of those upgrades, then this is a nice upgrade. Plus, let's face it, the Alienware M15, it's like another class of premium compared to the Zephyrus M15. They're both M15s. I just realized that. It's just an Alienware and ASUS. That's funny. Shout out to Fatih, I think is how you say the person's name that sent this over. This is an 8.5 out of 10 deal in my opinion. We've got a solid processor, an RTX 2070, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte HDD, a 512 gig SSD, 144 hertz display for $1299. It's solid. There's just a lot better deals out here. That's why I only marked it at 8.5. So I mean, unless the Leopard just speaks to you, like this RGB backlit keyboard, it's very bright, very vibrant keyboard. I've seen it in person. It's very impressive. I mean, unless this chassis and build just speak to you, I think there's a lot better deals out there than this one in particular, in my opinion. That said, this is not a bad deal, and I would not be disappointed if I owned this laptop either. So those are all the deals that I've found so far. Now, I will be keeping this sheet up to date with the latest deals that I find through the next few weeks, honestly, leading up to Christmas. And I have been checking them every day to see if the deal is still available. Like every morning I'll go through and just click all the links to see if the deal has changed, if the price has changed or whatever. And then I'm also keeping an eye out for more deals, and I'll keep adding them to this list. So if you want to bookmark this spreadsheet and keep coming back to it to check out all the deals that are available as they keep coming in, feel free to do that. Yeah, and thanks for checking out the video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smack it with the like button. And if you want to see more tech videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and mark it to all if you don't want to miss out on more content. I will see you guys in the next one. Brandon out. Huzzah.